like, bro.
She got a kid. Look at his back. Oh my god. Yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction.
Oh, that's messy.
Today, we're reacting to the media is manipulating you. Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty relevant. You gotta think about it.
That's pretty much what it's made for.
Yeah, that's. It gives you the
saying
news.
what you want to see, what they want you to see.
I don't know. I mean, nowadays it seems like the media is like swayed by like big corporations, like whoever companies like behind that like owns a company, like it's kind of like they have to sway now. Like before then, it seems like media was like a bit more private, like, especially when stuff was like just newspapers and all that. But it's still propaganda. I mean, like it's just like.
Yeah, I've been noticing.
They want to give you certain information.
All these companies buying each other out.
Disney fucking knows everything. I think the government was investigating Disney because it was like, you own so much media. We can't let one company own so much media in the United States because you have too much influence over everybody.
For real.
Yeah, there's law against that. Yeah, this is Gothics, man. Enjoy her videos, man. Let us know if you want to see more of her down in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. It's for the 10K subscribers. Go on right into this video.
It's disappointing that I need to make this video. For two reasons. One being because it's 9 o'clock at night and I don't feel like putting on makeup, so I'm gonna do this entire video with no eyebrows, so tough luck. As I mentioned in my first video, it's not a secret that racism is a hot topic. So hot that many people depend on keeping racism alive to earn a living or to achieve power. Of course, they are not going to tell you this for obvious reasons, but I assure you that these folks do not give a damn about you. Hi, my name is Gothics, and today we're discussing Stop Asian Hate because, well, the media tells us we should be focused on this, just like they do when they tell us to focus on any other story when they frame their coverage to support a narrative that they want to push, just as they did with George Floyd or generally any incident that involves a black victim and a white suspect. Going back to my original question, I asked you which of these names seemed familiar. If you are outraged about George Floyd, then you should be equally outraged to learn about Tony Timpa, a 32-year-old man who died by the hands of police officers. Did I mention that the officers were also kneeling on him? But if you look at the coverage surrounding Tony Timpa, it's clear that the story wasn't treated in the same way as the coverage surrounding George Floyd. Race isn't mentioned anywhere in the story, and of course, Tony's death didn't spark international outrage. In case you haven't figured it out yet, race hustlers are not specific to black issues. There was recently a mass shooting in Georgia, and we can see how quickly the media labeled this incident as a hate crime fueled by white supremacy. But if you learned anything in my original video, then you should know that the media's job is to report the news, and they're not in charge of homicide investigations. So why would the media outlets try to link this case to racism, even though it was determined that the motive behind the incident was due to a sexual addiction? And regardless of how disgusting that is to hear, a sexual addiction is very different from targeting someone specifically because of their race. Not too long after that incident, we had a situation in Colorado where, once again, many people were quick to conclude that this was yet another display of white supremacy. Now, I get a lot of harsh criticisms from people that think my videos are hateful towards black people, or I'm just telling white people the things that they want to hear, despite me sharing factual information which can easily be accessed online by a toddler. The taste of free publicity, especially when it comes from my critics, but I digress. My point being, never in my life did I think my mom hated me for telling me I dressed like a slob or I was slacking in school. How do you fix something if you don't know it's broken? Would you rather be lied to? If so, you're watching the wrong channel. The truth is...
At this point, I feel like people are comfortable being lied to.
Yeah.
That's the problem with black folks nowadays. Like, they made us comfortable with being like this begging.
Right.
Because if you like, look at the history.
Just waiting for stimulus.
Yeah, like look at the history, man. Black folks never begged. Black Wall Street, the neighborhoods, like we built their own neighborhoods. White people ain't make us neighborhoods. Like, you know, they literally built their own neighborhoods.
It's like anything we're trying to make. It's like anything we're trying to make. It's like they try to make like their own form.
Like, I don't know, they like completely overshadow it. I mean, they don't bring it up. I mean, I don't know.
of violent offenders against Asian victims are black, compared to 24% for white offenders. And regardless if you want to believe those stats because you're desperate to blame everything on white supremacy, you're not entitled to your own reality. And before you accuse me of creating more division by pointing out facts that are easily accessible to the public, let me be clear that lying and deliberately spreading propaganda actually creates more division. And I know what you're gonna say. Trump ignited all this division in the country because he used things like China virus or Wuhan virus when referencing COVID-19. And you already know my stance on political correctness, but by that logic, if he created more division by using those not politically correct terms, then I would think the media is equally as guilty, are they not?
The Wuhan coronavirus. We have new information about how the Wuhan coronavirus is spread.
Tying coronavirus to China and Chinese people isn't just a racist dog whistle. It's a whole racist orchestra. It's a mighty, mighty racist bass tone.
I hear Stephen Miller in this foreign virus, setting up travel bans for the outside invasion of the disease. That's not
the Chinese coronavirus.
Yeah, that's not
the first U.S. case of Chinese
I just
coronavirus.
black through everything.
Chinese
You always just kind of like.
coronavirus. This is coming as
I feel like I noticed too, nowadays, like it seems like the media is just set up to be like it's like ESPN or something. It's like a shouting match.
Yeah, it's like everybody's trying to up one.
It's like it's just all distraction while the elites have sex with kids and just it's like it's just they're just laughing at us. Jeez.
Yeah, like I remember seeing this ad about like some type of powerful book club. I'm like, I don't like. Why would I want to even? I'm never gonna dive into that.
Goddamn media. That's why I tuned out of the news a long time ago. Like the news in our city. Like growing up, all it was another
shooting,
another black man. It's like
shooting.
Damn.
It's like
damn. Fuck. I'm going to school, man. Can I? Good morning, America. How are you doing? What's going on?
Breaking news: Black man gets shot.
Damn.
coronavirus. China's coronavirus outbreak.
And if we compare the news coverage surrounding violence against Asians as we did in my previous video for violence against blacks, once again, we can see a trend. 84-year-old killed after a horrific daytime attack caught on video in San Francisco. Interesting. No mention of the suspect's race. Alright, let's move on. 3 arrested in beating and robbery of Asian man in San Francisco laundromat. No mention of the suspect's race. Suspect arrested for brutally attacking 2 Asian men in San Francisco. Oh, and big surprise, no mention of suspect's race. But what's interesting about this is the second the media catches wind of a white offender or someone that can at least pass as white for committing a crime against a person of color, rest assured, you'll know what the suspect looks like. And if we consider all the anti-white rhetoric that's been brewing through entertainment, education, and diversity training, it's very clear what agenda is being pushed. Because if the media overlords truly cared about fighting racism, then they wouldn't cherry pick which cases they report as hate crimes depending on what color the suspects are. Or is this where the black people can't be racist excuse comes in? Also, where's the public outrage for affirmative action policies that systemically discriminate against Asians? Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, it's actually harder for Asians to get into elite schools such as Yale. On average, Asians tend to do very well academically, so in the name of diversity, school admissions boards have made it harder for Asians to get accepted.
No, that's kind of
too smart, man.
That's messed
even
up.
If they're not
That's
doing as
beyond
well
messed up.
academically. It's also worth
You talking
noting
yet?
that affirmative action
How long you
policies
talking?
lead to low grades and high
ate,
dropout
Dad.
rates for
I'm
black
ate, Dad.
students. Don't believe me? Look it up. Although I don't think you need a fact checker to tell you that accepting a student who has less than favorable grades into an elite school puts them at a disadvantage, which is why I'm always critical about the policy. You really want to help someone? Encourage them to study more or get a tutor instead of making the goal easier to achieve. Guys, I'm being serious right now. If you're a critic,
I'm being serious right
my
now.
content to be white supremacist talking points, seek help immediately. Take your feelings off the table and actively listen to what I'm saying. You are being manipulated. Make no mistake. This divide that we're seeing in America is deliberate, and it's fueled in part by the media. And if you still think I'm full of shit, try this out for an experiment. The next time a story is reported, pay attention to how the coverage is framed. What circumstances do they mention race? Are they labeling something a hate crime long before a formal investigation has been completed? Is there evidence that contradicts the narrative that's being pushed, like the data I showed you at the beginning of this video? And most importantly, pay attention to which media outlets constantly race bait their articles. Do they lean more on the right, or the left, or both? I already know the answers to all of these questions, but I'm not going to tell you. You know why? Because as I said earlier, I don't believe in making things easier for people. You can research, you got fingers, you got a brain. Now go ahead and use it.
About the music, but that's like that. That's like every song you play Guitar Hero. They got every song like that. I'm like, why am I playing this game? It's like everything's a rock song.
From any vampire movie, they're like in a club.
Blade. I just remember him like fighting that big dude. It's like
Like a Triple H was in that movie for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, she said some real stuff. Like if you don't really like the media is meant to like just different like
it's meant to
it's meant to trick you.
It's meant to say, not meant to trick you, but it's meant to say the truth. But I mean, that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to
like all these companies. They sit around a table and they think about what's the best way to get around and grab your attention.
Exactly, it's all this money grab. It's like a show at this point. They know you're not buying the cable, so they're like, hey, we might as well just get popping on the news. Let's get this Trump Biden debate going. You see how quiet the news is now that now that Biden's in office. There's nothing to talk about with Biden because he's Biden is not. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Yeah, with the news, I want to say like you got to just pay attention to more like personal like journalism. Like there's people who's like actually like going out of their way to like make some really good articles. They're going into these places and getting like good information. Mm-hmm. These big media giants at this point they're just like reality shows. Like they're taking a situation or like they don't have all the information. They have none of that, and they're just making this broad statement with it, like, oh, this is what this is. You got to pay attention to it, and how do you feel about it? You don't know what happened yet. You don't know what happened yet. But we're gonna see where it's gonna take us. I'm scared for this country. In about 40 years, we're gonna end up like the Soviet Union. After we spent trillions of dollars to defeat them, we're gonna end up just like them.
Think so?
Probably. All these laws and stuff, you can't say certain things to people, or you're gonna get fired from your job.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna get that crazy.
Yo, I might.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, as time goes on, people become more sensitive. They're gonna want to ignite these certain laws to protect people.
Something like The Giver. Everybody see black and white and stuff.
That's ridiculous.
If you want to see more Gothics, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, and share. We'll see you next time. Peace.